Hello, all you wonderful people out there, and thank you for joining me at My Media Museum for part 42 of our 45 RPM vinyl records A to Z sorted collection. These are 7 boxes that I sorted out back in 2007. I inaccurately said 2015 a few videos back, but looking at my records, it was 2007 when I went through and sorted out my whole collection. And I found that the last section on the last box actually is like new releases. So we're going to go A to Z and then start over with a very quick A to Z. That'll probably take 2 episodes to complete. But here on 42, we're starting off with Sister Sledge doing We Are Family. And the B-side to that one was a song called Easier to Love. So next up, we've got a cover song here. We looked at the Sorrells version. I'll show you that again real quick. Recently, a couple episodes back, I believe. But the Baby It's You by the Sorrells on Scepter Records. And we know that this one here is a cover for sure. It's got the exact same songwriting credits on it. But it's by a band named Smith, or a person named Smith. I do not know the history on this at all. But I prefer the Beatles version. I think it was John Lennon that sang the version that the Beatles did. But they did a wonderful version of this song early on in their career. B-side of this is a song called I Don't Believe, I Believe. Okay, so don't know that song at all either. But next up, we've got one that I do know, do recognize, and actually like pretty much. Sniffing the Tears with Driver's Seat. Can't sing that one for you, but I do know it. It's kind of a hard little rhythm for me to reproduce. But the B-side of that one was a song called Slide Away. And I don't know Sniffing the Tears for anything other than Driver's Seat. But that's a really good song, and I enjoy that song quite a bit. Happy to have it. Next one's a band that I'm not a big fan of either, but I do like this song. Always reminds me of Coneheads. The movie Coneheads, if you saw that, with Dan Aykroyd. Tainted Love. He sings that. Dan's character in Coneheads sings this song, along with his daughter in the car, and then later on while he's trying to kill the monster at the end. But the B-side of this was a song called Memorabilia. So I really do actually kind of like the song Tainted Love, and not just because it reminds me of the Coneheads. All right, we got us a cap sleeve here from 1971. And the vinyl actually matches it, so that's nice to see. I don't get that as often as I'd like. But Sonny and Cher with I Got You, Babe. Hey, who don't know that song? Hey. It's not dated here, and I'm not sure if this is an original, but I seriously doubt it. It definitely looks like something out of the 70s. So this is probably a reissue of it. I do believe I Got You, Babe came out in the 60s, probably the late 60s, but I'm not positive of the date that it came out. But I used to watch the Sonny and Cher show, and even watched Cher after they broke up and she had her own show. Watched a lot of those variety shows back in the 70s. They were very popular and they were entertaining, kind of like short attention span. You never had to go more than 3 or 4 minutes and they were going to move on to another skit or another performer or something. So I did like all those shows. Tony Orlando and Donnie Marie, even the Mandrell sisters being in a heavy country and western family. That was definitely something that was watched. Hee Haw I actually enjoyed, even though it was country themed too. They still told a lot of jokes and had a lot of nice looking ladies on there. So we watched all those shows. But anyways, getting back to point here, the B-side is All I Ever Need Is You, which is not a song that I recognize by them. But wish they'd put that price tag on this side instead of the other one. All right. Next up, we have another one that I am not familiar with. And it is Spaniels doing Good Night, Sweetheart, Good Night. Now, of course, I know the song. I seem to remember Sean Arnaud doing it. Good night, sweetheart. Well, it's time to go. But the Spaniels, they might have been the original. Being this is on collectibles. This is not an original edition of this vinyl by no means. Collectibles were all catering to the jukebox, home jukebox market mostly. But the B-side of this is at least another Spaniel song, which a lot of the time, well, I shouldn't say a lot of times, oftentimes these collectibles will have different artists on A and B sides. And a lot of times they're not even marked A and B. This one is clearly marked as a B-side. So You Don't Move Me, not a song I'm familiar with from the title. But maybe if we threw it on, it'd be something that I might know. But yeah, clearly marked as the A side, and I do know the song Goodnight, Sweetheart. Good night. All right, next up, we're going to look at Spanky and the Gang. Sunday will never be the same. And the B-side of this being a song called Distance. So, like that Mercury records there, I've never seen that logo like that. Not sure if it's the same Mercury or it's another company that was using the name Mercury at some point. But that's an interesting logo we got there. It looks kind of, well, I'm not sure exactly what that's supposed to be. All right, next up, we got Spencer Davis Group with Gimme Gimme Some Lovin' Every Day. And this one Silver Spotlight series, so it's clearly a reissue of the song, but it's definitely an older reissue. Is marked as A-side, and the B-side is Blues in F. And that would be an interesting to throw on. I do like the blues, more of a rockin' blues than a original, traditional blues, but I do like the blues in general. So that would be a good one to give a spin at some point. Here's one I definitely remember from the 70s. It's kind of a funny song. I'd kind of call this a novelty record myself, but I don't think it was meant to be or considered a novelty record at the time. But the Spinners doing the Rubber Band Man. I can't really sing that one either, but Rubber Band Man. 1976, so yeah, we're going back a little ways with that one. And the B-side, Now That We're Together. Okay. Very cool. Next up, we've got one, hey, that I do recognize well and could sing for you. Love That Dirty Water by the Standells. And this is a Tower distributor, Equinox Music. Wish they'd have dated it, because it definitely looks like it's got some age on it. It's got a little bit of stacker wear for sure. Somebody had used this one on a stacker. The B-side being Rory. Sounds like Scooby-Doo. Whoa, I don't know how to pronounce that one. Rory, I guess. Interesting title. All right. So, moving on now, we do have one that I like quite a bit and remember very well from my childhood. Skyrockets in Sight, Afternoon Delight by the Starland Vocal Band. I even remember seeing this video. I think they were on American Bandstand probably or something. Back in the day, that was the main place you were going to see stuff, maybe on the Midnight Special. There wasn't a lot of music programs for popular music like that, for videos and things until you got up to the MTV days. But anyways, I do remember this song being performed live on TV and me seeing it back around the time that it came out, which apparently is, I think 76, might be 78. A little hard to see that little bitty teeny tiny print there. Might be a lot better once we get it up on the big screen TV. That's another reason why it's nice to film these in high def and blow them up. They look really great on my TV in my living room. I absolutely love it. Yeah, it looks like 76 though. And it looks like I've got 2 copies of that one. All right, here's an interesting sleeve. Kind of like this one. It's kind of like a platter, a plate with a fork and a knife. And we've got us a price tag there from TMC, whatever that was. That's not a store that I'm familiar with or know. Backside looks a little more clean, doesn't have the stickers and stuff on it. It's got a 72 date, but that sleeve date is probably for the artwork of the sleeve and has nothing to do with the release date of the vinyl, which does match the sleeve, by the way. It said A&M, and we've got an A&M platter here. So, stuck in the middle with you. And I think a lot of people would associate that with Reservoir Dogs. I remember seeing Quentin Tarantino talking about how Steelers Wheel wasn't too thrilled with the fact that he used their song, and now it's associated with a violent scene or a violent act in a movie. But anyways, 1972, this song was around for a long time before Quentin ever used it. And Stuck in the Middle with You is definitely one that I have heard many a times over the years. And a B-side, we've got a song called Josie, which Steely Dan's Josie would be the one that would come to mind for me, but I'm absolutely positive this is a completely different song. When Josie comes home. All right, we've got a Dunhill sleeve here with some advertising. Three Dog Night, loved Three Dog Night, B.B. King, John Lee Hooker. They were talking about some blues just a minute ago. He's definitely part of that classic blues. Emmett Rose, I don't know. Another Three Dog Night, Golden Biscuits. I had that one on 8-track back in the day. James Gang, James Gang, oh yes, Joe Walsh. That's what I was trying to get out. Tommy Rowe and Steppenwolf. Oh yeah, who doesn't like Steppenwolf? Magic Carpet Ride, Born to be Wild, all that good stuff. If it's on Dunhill, believe it. Believe what? That it's on. All right, well, here we got Steely Dan, who I just actually mentioned a minute ago, with Reeling in the Years. Love that song. Loved a lot of Steely Dan's work. Clearly marked as an A-side. And we flip it over, and we've got Only a Fool, which isn't a Steely Dan song I'm nearly as familiar with as Reeling in the Years. But there you go. That wraps up episode 42. I hope you'll join us for episode 43. Have a wonderful day.